A YouGov poll commissioned by The Sun has revealed that the British people's number one priority is tackling inflation and reducing bills. Surely that can't be a surprise. Equally unsurprisingly, net zero featured towards the bottom of the list. The poll has highlighted the great disconnect between the Westminster establishment and the British people. The pursuit of the lower priority has sacrificed the greatest priority. Cheap energy is the key for lower inflation and economic growth. And the hasty shift to renewable energy has meant higher bills for, and generally more expense to, the public. Our energy bills, Britain's energy bills, are among the highest in the world. In fact, we're in third place in energy costs behind Germany and Denmark, who, I should mention, have not left the European Union, not yet, at any rate. And what do all three of these countries have in common? We are all heavily reliant on unreliable, renewable energy. As much as 41% of British energy comes from renewable sources. In Germany, as much as 46%. In Denmark, it's as much as 67%. And even with all the renewable energy investment, all three countries have not been shielded by the rocketing energy prices from the war in Ukraine. And of course, part of the reason for the rocketing prices has been that there's been a reluctance to invest in new fossil fuel sources. France has been protected from this, where 2/3 of its energy comes from nuclear fuel, which is cheaper and more regular. So France doesn't even make the top 10 in the list of most expensive countries. Nuclear energy is obviously available when the wind doesn't blow and the sun doesn't shine, and we get it from the French when we're in that position via cables across the channel. But even our green comrades in the EU aren't going as far as we are in the net zero obsession. New petrol and diesel cars will be banned here in 2030, but they won't be banned there until later. And that's a decision that will make people in this country poorer, because the cheapest electric car in the market is the Fiat 500, which costs more than £20,000, and it's also rather crammed for a four-seater. We're currently on track to ban new gas boilers in all new buildings by 2025. But air source heat pumps cost between £7,000 and £14,000, and ground source heat pumps cost between £15,000 and £35,000. The average gas boiler costs between £1,000 and £3,000. This is so much cheaper, and these costs fall on the British public. Now, all of this would get worse if Labour got into power. Only yesterday, Labour unveiled plans to force councils to start building more onshore wind farms, making us even more reliant on an unreliable source of energy. Surely the whole point of being government, surely the whole point of politics is to make life easier for the public, to improve their standard of living. But these policies make life harder. What we need to do is scrap the ban on new petrol and diesel cars, reverse the upcoming enforcement of heat pumps in new buildings, give more licences, as we are going to do for the North Sea and oil drilling, lift the fracking moratorium. If we can have local supplies, that helps our security and will lower prices. We have the resources to become energy independent, like the United States did, to the benefit of the British public. Let us not put more costs on people who are already suffering from a cost of living crisis. But of course, I want to know what you think. Mail Mogg at gbnews.com.